My sister, Lily, a budding model, unexpectedly landed an audition for a film with a flying scene. On the day of the audition, a pimple popped up on her face. Desperate for a perfect complexion, she became obsessed with an unverified skin cream. I tried to dissuade her with my professional knowledge, but she wouldn't listen. In the end, I forcefully threw the cream away. Lily successfully passed the audition, but when the film aired, she didn't gain fame. She blamed everything on me, the one who stopped her from using that cream. Nevertheless, thanks to that opportunity, a person of influence discovered her, and she quickly rose in the modeling world. Soon after, she became an international supermodel. 10 years later, Lily cruelly pushed me onto the train tracks. "Who told you to meddle?" she sneered, just as the train barreled down, crushing me into 1,000 pieces. When I opened my eyes, I realized I was back to the day Lily was about to apply that skin cream. This time, I couldn't react in time. I only saw the train rushing towards me, crushing me once more. Blood splattered, staining the tracks crimson. I looked at Lily, crying and pleading with the railway staff, "Please save her." I couldn't stop her. The police collected fragments of my body and concluded it was a suicide. Lily, heartbroken, was led away by her manager, weeping. I, on the other hand, became a laughingstock on the news, a failed experimenter unable to face reality, taking her own life. But it was clear that day, Lily was the one in a bad mood. She invited me to walk near the train tracks to clear her head, fearing paparazzi. She insisted it should only be the two of us. Knowing how much she treasured her appearance, I even walked on the inner side of the tracks to shield her from dust. I never imagined she would take advantage of my unguarded moment to push me down. My sandal got caught in the tracks. I begged her repeatedly for help, but she just said coldly, "Who told you to meddle and ruin my dream of stardom? You owe me this. Death is no injustice for you." Sweat poured down my face. I didn't understand what she was saying. As the train approached, she merely gave a faint smile and ran away. The moment the train struck me, I suddenly realized, 10 years ago I had stopped her from using that skin cream. But that pimple was clearly so small, a little foundation could have covered it. Yet she was determined to erase it completely. That cream contained unknown ingredients. How could a model, whose livelihood depended on her face, so easily use such unsafe products? I never thought that because of that incident, she would heartlessly kill me. I prayed to the heavens, if I get another chance at life, I will absolutely never meddle again. Lily and I were identical twins, but our personalities were completely opposite. I only loved studying, a true bookworm. Lily, however, loved beauty, was passionate about performing, and yearned for the grand stage. Our mother, Sarah, who had once loved the stage herself, always showed Lily special favor. With her dazzling beauty, Lily didn't disappoint Sarah. After getting into art school, her perfect physique made her a model, but her biggest dream was to become a star. She didn't miss any audition, no matter how much running around it required. Sarah wholeheartedly supported her, even acting as her guardian throughout her journey. Finally, thanks to her beauty, Lily was lucky enough to get an audition for a film with a flying scene. But on the appointed day, a pimple appeared on her face. It should have been easily covered with 2 layers of foundation, but Lily was adamant about removing it completely. Later, she somehow obtained a mysterious skin cream. She meticulously examined herself in the mirror, smiling at me. "They say this is miraculous. One application and it's gone," she chirped. I smelled a strong chemical odor and quickly tried to stop her, but she wouldn't listen. Worried about her face, I decisively threw the cream away. The next day, before the audition, Sarah and Lily took turns scolding me, but in the end, just as I said, a single layer of foundation covered the pimple. Lily successfully auditioned and got the role. However, because she had been a model for too long, her facial expressions were stiff, preventing her from becoming famous. Nevertheless, her sharp features caught the eye of an international modeling manager, and she became a globally renowned supermodel. When I opened my eyes, I found Lily in front of me with her young, immature face, holding the cream, hesitating before the mirror. I looked down at the book in my hand and immediately realized I had gone back in time. This time, I remained silent, quietly closed the door, took my book, and went straight to the library. I returned home after 9 p.m. As soon as I opened the door, I heard Lily's desperate shriek, it's over, my face is ruined." She was crying from the pain. Our father, Daniel, intended to take her to the hospital, but she adamantly refused. "Tomorrow is my only chance. If they find out I went to the hospital for treatment, my career will be over." Sarah panicked. "But what about your face?" Lily, her face streaming with tears, looked at me, her identical twin. Gritting her teeth, she said, "Let Ava go in my place for the role. She looks just like me, and her figure is similar. Once my face heals, I'll join the crew." Sarah's eyes immediately lit up. Sarah didn't care about Lily's swollen, red face from the allergic reaction. She excitedly hugged Lily and kissed her. "My daughter is still the smartest." Before I could react, Sarah said in a cold voice, "You're not going to help your sister with this small matter, are you?" I clenched my fists, feeling a sharp pain in my heart, but I still smiled. "Of course not. This is the first step for Lily to achieve her dream of stardom. I will definitely do my best." Sarah was pleased. "Good. Let your sister teach you. If you get caught tomorrow, don't blame me." Daniel was displeased, blaming Sarah for speaking so harshly. "They're both our daughters, why do you always differentiate?" Sarah lost patience. "I'm just giving her some instructions. She reads books until she's dull-witted. What if she ruins Lily's opportunity?" Perhaps not wanting to see me anymore, Sarah pulled Daniel away. I sat down on the bed and gently comforted Lily. "Don't worry, trust the experts. Maybe you just haven't used it long enough." Lily looked at me in shock. "You know this cream is a dodgy product suggested by an expert?" I nodded. She quickly pretended to casually tidy up the cream on the table. "I just want to become famous immediately. A perfect face is a huge advantage for an actress, right?" I smiled in agreement. Lily hesitated, looking at me. "Normally, you never cared about my affairs. Why are you actively helping me this time?" I replied nonchalantly. "Well, my lab hasn't had much work lately." Lily had a good head on her shoulders. Otherwise, she wouldn't have survived in the treacherous modeling world. It's just that sometimes she was too blind. I controlled my emotions and gave a gentle smile. "Everyone has dreams. You want to be a star, and I want to have my own lab for research. But research needs money, you understand, right?" Lily laughed. "Of course, I understand. When I become famous, I'll definitely sponsor your lab." We hooked our pinky fingers, but my heart felt cold. It turned out she only believed in my kindness when there was a benefit to be exchanged. In my previous life, all my genuine care for her ultimately amounted to nothing. Before I left, Lily was still uneasy. She handed me all the character materials, then opened her small fridge, took out all the face masks, and stuffed them into my hand. "Tomorrow, you absolutely must win the role. Don't you not have any masks to use? These are all for you." Then she took out her phone and tapped for a long time. Finally, with a somewhat unnatural expression, she transferred 2,000 yuan to me. "You once said you liked a certain research book series, right?" I looked at the pile of masks in my hand, listening to the WeChat transfer notification, feeling utterly sarcastic. In my previous life, I often went out to collect samples, and my skin would get so sunburned that it was unbearably red and sore. At that time, I just asked Lily for a single face mask, but she grudged every bit. "You're a bookworm, why do you need expensive masks? Just wash your face often. Who told you to choose that kind of job?" My allowance and Lily's were worlds apart. Since childhood, I didn't like talking and didn't know how to flatter others. Lily, on the other hand, was sweet and skillful, always pleasing adults. More importantly, she followed the path Sarah desired. So I only had a meager allowance, while Lily not only received double mine, but Sarah would also secretly give her extra. I always struggled to buy books, sometimes even going without enough food. Lily, however, would ponder which lipstick shade was prettier. Every time I asked Sarah for money, she would scold me as a debt collector. Gradually, I could only eat less to save money for books. Lily dieted to maintain her figure, but for me, that had become a daily habit. But no matter what, Lily was still my biological sister. From birth, she had been weaker than me. I always thought it was normal for Sarah to favor her. It made sense that Sarah invested more since Lily pursued an artistic path. But now, looking back, it was all just my self-deception. Lily had never considered me family. I watched her grit her teeth, handing me the money with a grudging expression, then took the masks and left. I wasn't stupid. If there was money, I'd take it. Why refuse? The next morning, Sarah still looked at me with disdain. She looked at Lily's face, which hadn't improved, and murmured, "Someone who doesn't care about their appearance is fine. Why isn't it her who's disfigured?" My hand, holding a piece of bread, suddenly froze. Who would want to be disfigured? I was shocked that Sarah could be so biased as to utter such words. Lily, sensing the tense atmosphere, quickly whined, "What are you saying, Mom? Ava still has to audition for me today." Sarah dismissed it without a thought. "She's lucky to get this opportunity. If it weren't for you, she'd be holed up in her lab all day, never getting a chance like this. Even I, a pillar of the performing arts troupe, have never auditioned for a movie, let alone her. Lily's smile stiffened, becoming forced. Mom, there will be other opportunities. It was then that Sarah realized she had misspoke. She quickly placated me. Ava, don't be sad. Mom just dislikes you taking advantage of your sister's hard work. After saying that, she put another fried egg on my plate. Eat up, eat well, then go to the audition. Remember Mom's words, this is your sister's only chance. You must succeed, not fail. My eyes stung, but I didn't dare waste food. I ate the entire egg, washed the plate, and then headed to the audition. I wasn't a professional, but I had Lily's exact face. In the end, the result was the same as in my previous life. I successfully auditioned. When I returned home, Sarah and Lily were whispering in the room. Thank goodness Ava is sensible. Otherwise, what would I do? Lily was tense. Mom, is that cream really okay? I won't really be disfigured, will I? Sarah asserted confidently. It's fine. This is a miracle elixir that I had to kneel for a day and a night to obtain. It's guaranteed to make you famous overnight. Today, I asked the Grand Master, and he said the first stage is blood exchange and skin renewal. Pain is normal. You'll only need one more application, and by then, you'll definitely shine. Lily worried. Dad won't find out, will he? He hates all this praying to gods and worshipping Buddha nonsense. Sarah said softly. Don't worry. Didn't you see I didn't dare say a word yesterday? Luckily, you're smart enough not to spill anything. It turned out that the cream wasn't meant for pimples at all, but to make Lily more beautiful over time. The pimple was just an excuse from beginning to end, and this cream was something Sarah had begged for on her knees. Suddenly, everything connected in my mind. Skin cream, Grand Master, beauty. I staggered, nearly losing my footing. Wasn't the cream Lily was currently using the very same product that had been exposed in my past life as a poison specifically targeting women? Even though Lily was abroad at the time and unaware of the domestic situation, Sarah knew perfectly well. When the news broke, Sarah's face had been extremely grim. I remembered asking her a few concerned questions at home then. That year, Lily was working abroad, and Sarah was hospitalized with a cerebral hemorrhage after a fall. I was the one who took care of her. I suggested hiring help as I couldn't manage everything, but Sarah coldly said, I've raised you for so many years, don't you want to repay me? Daniel, fearing dirt, refused to help with care, only paid the hospital bills, and then disappeared. As for Lily, she lost all contact once she heard Sarah was hospitalized. Only I juggled between the lab and the hospital alone. Yet, Sarah never treated me well. Abandoned by Daniel in the hospital, Sarah unleashed all her resentment on me. She tormented me in every way she could, constantly changing restaurants for meals she didn't like. At night, she would repeatedly demand water, then run to the bathroom. Gradually, I became exhausted. Eventually, during the most crucial step of an experiment, I accidentally entered the wrong unit of measurement. All my hard work went down the drain. But luckily, when Sarah heard Lily was returning, her health improved significantly. And after I died, even though Sarah knew Lily was the killer, she not only didn't seek justice for me but embraced Lily, gently soothing her. Don't be afraid, you did the right thing. If she hadn't gotten in your way, you would have been on the big screen, replacing me long ago. It seemed some people could never be warmed. If that was the case, I didn't need to go easy on them anymore. I changed my expression several times, then pushed the door open and entered. As soon as Lily saw me, she rushed to greet me. How did it go? Everything went smoothly, right? Sarah pursed her lips tightly, as if she would immediately hit me if I said anything went wrong. I took a deep breath and smiled. Lily is still the most formidable. With her face, everything is as easy as turning a hand. Sarah immediately relaxed her face, happily telling Lily, See, I told you were worrying too much. With your face, how could there be any failure? Then she turned to me and coldly snorted, Consider this an eye-opener for you. Once your sister recovers, you'll be worthless. I gave a vague reply, then returned to my room. Early the next morning, as soon as I woke up, I heard Sarah and Lily chirping outside the door. Thank heavens, your face has finally recovered. Lily whispered to Sarah, Mom, my skin seems even smoother than before. Excellent, thank goodness I persevered, Sarah beamed. I coldly looked at my phone screen, deleting the documents my senior brother had sent me. As someone who conducted experiments year-round, even without an ingredient list, I could guess a few things just by the smell. To be sure, I asked my senior brother and cross-referenced information. It contained not only fluorescent agents, but also a large amount of hormones, everything skin should avoid. Soon, Lily's face would be ruined. The day before joining the film crew, Lily was again making a fuss at home. "Mom, it's because you let me eat too much. My clothes don't fit anymore. No matter how pale I get, if my face is fat, I'll still look ugly." Sarah quickly soothed her. All right, it's all my fault. Let me adjust your diet. I guarantee you'll be back in shape before you join the crew." I emotionlessly ate the cold steamed bun in my bowl. Lily's weight gain wasn't due to eating. It was a side effect of the hormones. Using skin cream to maintain beauty was only a temporary struggle. Once the side effects erupted, not only her figure, but her entire face would be completely ruined. Lily became paler and paler, but she didn't stop. Every day I smelled the pungent odor of medicine on her, and her waist, no matter how much she tried to starve herself, refused to shrink. To join the crew, she continuously fasted for 5 days, only drinking water to sustain herself, not eating a single grain of rice. Sarah was heartbroken, almost crying. But just as Lily was about to leave, her face suddenly completely collapsed. "My face! What happened to my face?" Lily furiously smashed the mirror. Sarah heard the noise and rushed over, almost fainting, but she wasn't angry at all. She gently, like she did when Lily was a child, stepped over the shards and embraced her distraught daughter. I stood outside the door, watching them tenderly, feeling like an outsider. Just then, Lily's phone rang. Seeing who was calling, she burst into tears. "Mom, what do I do now? The film crew is here to pick me up. Should I just give up? With this face, I can't possibly meet anyone." Sarah immediately dismissed the idea. "No, if you miss this opportunity, there won't be another. Plus, if you cancel the contract now, you'll have to pay a huge penalty." Lily whispered in despair. "Then I'm ruined. My dream is completely shattered." Sarah abruptly turned to me and coldly said, "You go, you pretend to be your sister and go film. But remember, as soon as your sister's face recovers, you must withdraw immediately." I chuckled. Didn't everyone dream of standing on the big screen, pursuing a path to stardom? But what better punishment than to snatch away what she cherished most? For this charade to continue, of course, I had to agree. All right. Lily gritted her teeth, unwilling, but this was the only way. She gripped my hand, her voice trembling as she instructed, "Ava, you must never slip up. From now on, your stage name is Ava, remember?" I watched her phone screen light up continuously, then gently patted her hand. "Lily, you know I don't belong here. You go obediently with Mom to get your face treated. I'll wait for you to come back." Though unwilling, Lily could only stand by the window curtain, watching me pull my suitcase into the film cruise car. Life in the lab was very boring. Occasionally experiencing something new wasn't bad. Living a new life, I should also go out and see the world more. But I didn't expect that this time, unlike my previous life, before the movie was even released, I, now known as Ava, became famous for my ability to identify cosmetic ingredients. A barefaced goddess who could recite cosmetic ingredient lists flawlessly, was it a gift or a trick? It all started when I smelled an itchy and irritating ingredient in the lead actress's foundation, but the film crew didn't believe an unknown person like me. In the end, the lead actress, uneasy, took the foundation for testing herself. The results proved I was right. How could a rising star like the lead actress ignore such a matter? Eventually, the supporting actress's assistant was investigated and found to have deliberately sabotaged the product. The film crew had to change their entire team. From then on, my ability to identify cosmetics spread everywhere. Some veteran actors even deliberately came to test my skills. Gradually, I naturally became famous. But when Lily found out, she wasn't happy at all. Because what I easily obtained was the very dream she yearned for, and her face became more and more severely damaged. Even the model physique she once prided herself on began to gain weight due to the side effects of the hormones. On the day the film premiered, Lily waited for Sarah to go to the market, then took an eyebrow razor and slit her wrist, attempting suicide. They say twins have a telepathic connection, but perhaps because Sarah and Lily had shunned me since childhood, that day, while Lily was in critical condition at the hospital, I was celebrating at the wrap party, drinking wine. After Lily was discharged from the hospital, Sarah, of course, couldn't accept a substitute like me enjoying the spotlight under Lily's name. She personally came to threaten me. "Quickly, give back the identity to Ava?" I just smiled faintly. "As long as it's your daughter, whoever fulfills your dream, what's the difference?" It wasn't until I died that I understood Sarah had never loved Lily. She only loved her lifelong regret, the years she couldn't step onto the big screen. When she saw Lily, who was identical to her younger self, She poured all her energy into transforming Lily into her own lost dream. And I, a child who only knew how to study, was, of course, not worth bothering with. Hearing me say that, Sarah's face immediately turned panicked. She tried to regain her composure. Are you addicted to being a star now? Not going to return your sister's identity? Sarah knew I wasn't close to her, and she knew even more that I wouldn't let her be my manager. Besides, Lily's face was completely ruined. As long as I firmly insisted I was Ava, no one would believe I was just a substitute. Hearing Sarah's flustered tone, I feigned a cheerful smile. How could that be? As soon as Lily's face recovers, I'll immediately return her identity to her. There are still many darlings waiting for me in the lab. When the lab was mentioned, Sarah started to lose patience. Let's decide it then. I'll take Ava to get her face treated. You continue filming in her place, but don't cause any trouble. Otherwise, when your sister returns, it will be very difficult for her to take over the fame. I readily agreed. Since Lily's suicide attempt, Sarah had barely left her side. To treat Lily's face, Sarah tried every method, but Lily had used too much mixed cream and her skin had completely necrotized. Of course, my efforts contributed significantly to this. I secretly added irritants to the cream, hiding them in the lucky charm Sarah had brought back. Sarah believed this charm protected her luck, so Lily slept with it every day. As a result, Lily's face could never fully heal. Currently, I had taken a long leave from the lab, but I still needed money to sustain my life. However, the film crew transferred the film fees to Ava's account. I returned home and asked Sarah for my ID to withdraw money. To my surprise, Sarah flatly refused. What money? That's what you earned under your sister's name. Now her face has cost who knows how much money, and I don't even have money for her treatment anymore. I never expected Sarah to be this shameless. To film a commercial for my new nail polish, my nails almost dug into my palm, drawing blood. I gritted my teeth, maintaining a smile. I've heard of a method, but it's a bit disgusting. As soon as she heard that, Lily rushed forward. What method? As long as it can heal my face, I'll do anything. Sarah looked at me suspiciously. You're not trying to swindle money, are you? I shrugged. I'm just telling you, believe it or not is up to you. You can check online right now. If you don't believe me, keep the ID tightly. Sarah gritted her teeth. All right, but if this method doesn't work, just you wait. I chuckled coldly. Wait. Am I supposed to starve to death with my money already prepared? Then I nonchalantly uttered 2 words, bacterial culture solution. Sarah and Lily's faces immediately changed. Are you trying to kill your sister? How can that cure skin? Lily angrily pulled out her phone to search, but when she saw that this method actually worked, she immediately turned to Sarah. Mom, quickly give her the ID. When my face heals, I'll earn you much more money. Sarah cursed and fumed, but in the end, reluctantly gave Lily's ID to me. I left the house, a faint smile playing on my lips. Bacterial culture solution indeed had an effect, but the conditions for its use were extremely strict. It had to be completely sterile, which was very hard to find. However, Sarah actually found a way, even obtaining a special type of culture solution. Lily's face did improve, but she didn't stop. Discovering that the culture solution also had a whitening effect, Lily became greedy. After some experimentation, her face began to bleed incessantly. She frantically called me. I told her to go to the hospital, but she shrieked, "No, if I go to the hospital, my identity will be exposed." Then she hung up and completely lost contact. 3 months later, late one night, Sarah brought Lily to find me. As soon as I saw Lily, I immediately felt something was off. Her face had recovered, but her eyes were vacant, like someone who had lost her mind. Sarah pushed Lily towards me. Tell your sister the current situation, explain everything clearly, then swap identities back. I looked at Lily's vacant eyes and coldly asked Sarah, Are you sure? In her state, can she act in a movie without revealing any flaws? Sarah stiffened. She's just tired, a few days of rest and she'll be fine. No sooner had she spoken than Lily suddenly retched. A thought flashed through my mind. Could Lily be pregnant? I remembered in my previous life, when the 3 Nose mixed cream scandal broke, there was a monk who preyed on women desperate for beauty, using drugs to force them into sexual slavery. Could it be that in her desperation, Lily had put herself in the devil's hands? Sarah only thought Lily had a stomach ache and quickly gave her warm water, but after one sip, Lily started to vomit even more violently. At this point, Sarah finally realized something was wrong. She quickly took Lily to the hospital. 2 hours later, looking at the pregnancy test results showing 2 months, Sarah was stunned. Then she suddenly panicked and called the police. When the police raided the temple, 5 women had had their faces ruined, but Lily was the only one who had been raped. What was even more cruel was that the others had only used small doses and could still recover. Lily, however, had used too much, and combined with the effect of the bacterial culture, her face could never be fully healed. Moreover, because of the prolonged drug abuse, her brain was also severely damaged. Her body was completely ruined. When Daniel returned from his business trip and found out, he immediately filed for divorce. When she was young, to pursue her career, she abandoned our son. Now she's ruined the daughter she loved most. And for the only daughter left, she's never felt any pain. When will she stop? It was then that I learned I once had an older brother. No wonder Daniel was always indifferent to Sarah. But Sarah still didn't give up. She took Lily to get an abortion, but the doctor's words shattered her dream. The patient's body is too weak. If we proceed with surgery, she could lose too much blood and die on the operating table. In the end, Sarah could only take Lily and move into a cheap rental house. She still had the delusion that one day Lily would regain her sanity and continue pursuing her dream. But without that mixed cream to sustain her, Lily's face was covered in pus and scars. Pregnancy disfigured her body. She would never have another chance. The next time I saw Sarah was when Lily was about to give birth. Sarah came to me asking for hospital fees. I gleefully watched the drama, casually tossing her a bank card with 2,000 yuan. The once powerful woman now had white hair, and Lily was neither human nor ghost, her belly bulging. She struggled to walk, with Sarah running behind her, forcing her to take medicine. I was a bit surprised. Someone as selfish as Sarah, yet so diligently caring for Lily to this extent. But when she sat outside the delivery room, she whispered, "As long as the child dies, she still has a chance to continue filming." Just then, the doctor pushed Lily out of the operating room. He regretfully said, "I'm very sorry. Due to the effects of the medication, the baby couldn't be saved. The mother suffered severe hemorrhage and was forced to have her uterus removed. So Lily could never get pregnant again." But Sarah let out a sigh of relief, laughing. "It's all right, it's all right. As long as she's alive." It turned out that from beginning to end, there was only one truly insane person. Unexpectedly, after waking up from the anesthesia, Lily regained her sanity. She immediately began to plot with Sarah to reclaim the money I had earned from filming. After all, the contract was in Ava's name, and the bank card also belonged to Ava. What was so outrageous about taking back her own money? Seeing that I wouldn't yield, the two of them resorted to another trick. They actively spread rumors that the person acting in the movie wasn't the real Ava. The online community exploded, creating a new wave of public opinion. Accidentally, the film gained renewed popularity. It was then that everyone learned Ava had an identical twin sister. However, in the entertainment industry, changing stage names was a common occurrence. Here, people only cared about looks and ability. The name wasn't important. Anti-fans hurled insults at me, but industry veterans came forward one after another to defend me. I didn't disappoint them, because I had already prepared in advance. The film's earnings had been donated to my lab from the very beginning, with clear notarization. In short, Ava officially and legitimately transferred money to Lily. Sarah and Lily angrily sued the bank, but after reviewing the surveillance cameras, the bank concluded that the account holder, Ava, had personally brought her ID to withdraw the money, and that person was me. When I obtained Lily's ID, I had already planned everything. At that time, Sarah and Lily were only concerned with treating her face. How could they have time to care about me? While public opinion was raging, I officially left the entertainment industry and returned to being an ordinary person. As for my lab, I also dismantled it after losing 2 lawsuits. Sarah completely lost everything. She took Lily and moved to live under a bridge. Lily tried to contact Daniel, but he now had a new girlfriend and cared nothing for them. A mad person isn't picky, but someone who has regained sanity cannot endure it. Lily couldn't accept a life of poverty because she was used to living in luxury. She ran to my lab, clinging to my arm, begging, "Please help me. You clearly loved me so much before. Mom even took care of me. Why can't you help your own sister?" I keenly noticed that she seemed to have remembered something. I leaned close to her ear and whispered softly, "Or perhaps you'd like to experience what it feels like to be crushed by a train?" This single sentence terrified Lily to the point of madness. Sarah couldn't bear the sight of Lily's madness and had to take her to the hospital. The doctor concluded that the patient had gone completely insane. Lily was admitted to a mental asylum. During a visit, she used a toothbrush she had hidden to stab Sarah's throat. She screamed with hatred. "It's all your fault. If you hadn't forced me to use that mixed cream, I would have been an international supermodel long ago." Those who never admit their mistakes will always blame others. Using medicine kills, not using medicine also kills. In the end, Sarah still achieved her dream of being on the front page, regrettably, as the main character in a daughter kills mother case in the social news section. After Sarah died, Lily was abandoned in the mental asylum. Occasionally, I would tell the doctors to give her a special meal. 2 years later, Lily died in the institution. As for me, I finally successfully developed the facial restoration medicine, something I had poured all my efforts into creating in my previous life. Upon its release, it received countless positive reviews. What a pity my sister wasn't fortunate enough to enjoy it.